Hey, you're watching The Third Rail. I'm Sera here with Nick.
Yes, hey.
Sach.
Yes, that's right. Plenty coming up later on.
Plenty coming up.
Oh, yeah, heaps.
One of the questions is Barack Obama a sellout? And we're going to talk about Peter Dutton's alternative facts about Manus Island.
Yep, fake news.
But first, Anzac Day and the controversy about Yasmin Abdel-Magied. So we'll show you a clip of the Facebook post which has landed her in a little bit of hot water. So those four little words in brackets were deleted. She's apologised for what's happened, but the media storm is basically brewing. It hasn't stopped. I want to show our audience a clip or an image of the Daily Telegraph front page to just show how crazy things are getting.
New York Times are bloody reporting on it, for God's sake.
I know.
Why do they care?
I don't know.
What difference does it make?
I don't know. But what I was going to start with, actually, if you don't mind, was I was going to ask Nick, if you don't mind. Free speech, you know. What's going on?
I don't know.
Whatever happened to free speech?
What is Anzac Day? And it was just another excuse for these things to happen. You know, I don't think she should have deleted the stuff. She should have, dug in and defended that. But it's all pretty predictable. Although, I had to say, the defence of today, Kyle Sandilands, big Kyle, you know,
huge
Kiss
Kyle.
FM, huge
Right.
Kyle.
Huge Kyle.
Yeah. He came out in defence and said, you know, he doesn't think she should be sacked because naturally the News Corp stable and all their little acolytes have been demanding her head, which is kind of an Islamic flavour.
It won't happen.
It won't happen.
No way in the world. You think if they've got a plan for her? And not only that, if this would be very defeating for them if they were to go ahead and just bow to all the pressure that's being put on them. But at the same time, I think it says a lot about her. You know, like you said before, she took it down, like an hour after she posted it. She saw the reaction wasn't what she wanted, right? And then she decided to bail, right? Unlike Scott McIntyre in 2015, who posted some comments on Twitter regarding Anzac Day, and he was given the arse by SBS, obviously because, you know, they are a commercial network partly, you know, because they've got some stakeholders.
But that, you remember that actually happened because Turnbull, I think, who was the communications minister at the time, put in a phone call to the head of SBS. Then the next day, Scott McIntyre was gone and it led to an unfair dismissal case and they settled it. But, I mean, his tweets were on a whole other level of offensive, I think. It would be fair to say.
Oh, look.
They were pretty bad.
Look, not that they were bad. I mean, you can see how people were offended by it.
People off.
But I agree with what she says, you know. I think, you know, light should be shone on these other issues, but not on this day. It's sort of like, you know, going up to someone whose birthday, the birthday boy at a party and just saying, nah, it's all about me today, you know. No, it's not. It's got nothing to do with you. It's about these people today. Let them have their day. And you know what? I hate to sound so cliche about it, but if they didn't go and commit the sacrifices that, you know, you or I would quiver at the thought of it, right? Let's be honest.
I would quiver.
I'm a big quiverer,
Totally.
you know. We wouldn't be able to do what we do, but at the same time, I don't think she would get sacked, but it says a lot about her as a person.
It's just weird though, isn't it? You know,
it's all about her.
They died so that you could have freedom of speech. But you can't say that, you know.
They didn't.
It depends on who's talking.
No, they didn't die for that. I mean, there's a whole. It's a very complex issue, obviously. You know, with conscription and all that kind of stuff. You know, it's very political. But at the same time, she's lost a lot of support here. I think that within those people who were 50-50 about it. You know, I couldn't give a shit either way.
Well, I must say, I think she probably has, and I've got to say, I really didn't want to talk about this tonight because I just was like so over the hysteria. I almost want to talk about the Logies more, and that's saying
she'll probably get more Twitter followers out of it and she'll love it.
But that is true. But I think one of the things that I thought, I agree with you, I think the timing was wrong, even though I totally agree with her sentiments. But the other thing that there's been a bit of social media discussion about this, and I've read some stuff from some Aboriginal rights activists who've sort of come out and said, look, you know, the original comment, it sort of missed the mark, and why isn't there some acknowledgement of, you know, the abuse suffered by Aboriginal people by the Australian government. And that's a really valid point.
She didn't
mention
Indigenous people.
And that's a great point. And I think it's our problem is that, you know, 2 or 3 times a year, we have Australia Day, we have Anzac Day, which commemorates something fairly stupid. You know, I hate to put it like that, but, you know, we got to...
But it is what it is.
It is the celebration of getting your ass handed to you and then saying
but there are also, you know, people, veterans who you know, and there's been some really interesting stories on the ABC actually website about young veterans especially who just don't have any support. They come back from war, they're suffering from PTSD.
Universal problem.
There are major, you know, suicide issues that they're facing, mental health problems, and there isn't that support. Now, if this day means something to them, I'm in favour of it. Even no matter what your position on war is. Like,
with you,
yeah.
Well, 100%, 100%. But our problem, I think, as a country, is that we only ever talk about these things. You know, if she'd made that tweet the day after Anzac Day, maybe that would have been less offensive because it's not, you know, being sacrilegious about Anzac Day. But we never continue these conversations for long enough. Like, we've got serious fucking identity problems in this country because we don't want to face up to our past. We don't want to admit any of the kind of things that don't fit the white narrative.
We don't want to acknowledge the multicultural aspects of our society and our diversity.
Don't want to know about Aboriginal soldiers, don't really want to think about what we did to the Aborigines, none of that, except for 2-3 days of the year when it comes out, and inevitably that's the time to make that statement because it's not really on our radar the rest of the time. And so, you know, what do you do?
Do you reckon she should have gotten the sack?
No.
No?
No.
Fuck no.
You don't think so?
I don't think so either.
No.
I don't know.
And you know,
I think considering what she said last time, I think she's on her last one now. Like if she fucks
one
up
more
again,
chance.
one more chance. That's what I think because they sort of distance themselves from her, saying that she's only a part-time presenter and what have you.
And it was in her personal
So
capacity.
basically, you know what? Them in admitting that, isn't that sort of saying that she's just a token symbol?
Yes,
you know what I mean?
that's the thing.
She's just throwing to reporters' stories. She's only there just to put a nice face on things, you know. And basically, her power and her purpose goes way beyond her being a female or a Muslim or whatever. It's gone political now, you know.
But at some point, like the Oldfield woman on Sky said, you know, you're brown and you're a girl and you're a bitch, you know, and. In a way, and she said, you know, that's why you've got a job at the ABC.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Now, me and Sach, I think me and Sera, we're probably more unified on tokenism than, you know.
Yeah, well, it depends. I'm sort of moving away from it, but I can see the value
in a way,
of it sometimes.
it's like, oh, all right, so what are you doing here, Oldfield? Like, just why do you have this job? Because I'm rich and I'm a fucking housewife. And
well, what was she doing on the show then? Why was she commenting on such an issue? That's pretty important.
Maybe it was a promotional thing for Real Housewives.
In a place where, you know, Muslim women don't really have like massive representation, then you got this job because, you know, you got a nice face and you're a Muslim and you are more accessible to TV audiences. Well, that's a good enough reason to give someone a job.
Yeah, I don't have a problem with her having a job.
No. See, you put that the wrong way. You know, it should be a meritocracy. You know, the reason why.
Here we go.
No, hold on. No.
What the hell does that even mean?
No, that means that you should be able to go up the ladder, whichever industry you pick.
She's a good speaker. I've seen her speak
regardless
on YouTube
of what
and stuff.
she
She's a good
speaks. You know,
speaker.
I'm not denying that. I'm not saying anything about what she brings to the table. I'm saying if she's an engineering graduate, right, and they've said she's a part-time presenter at the ABC, so basically her ideas and her opinions aren't reflective of what the ABC think, then why wouldn't you say that, you know, why wouldn't you just wipe your hands off it? You know what I mean? They've got a plan for this.
No, I think it's not just that. I think the ABC, and maybe we'll wrap it up on this, I think the ABC don't want to sack her because if they sack her after all this pressure, now this is the second round of pressure because you remember she came under a lot of pressure with the Sharia law comments on Q&A in February. If they do it now, then they will, then the right-wing media and political establishment will know that they can basically interfere with the ABC's editorial choices and their choices of presenters. So I think the ABC, I actually don't think it's about her. I think they are just standing their ground to ensure that this, you know, they don't set a precedent.
They should. Plus, let us not forget McIntyre settlement.
And not only that,
exactly.
I mean, not long ago that they had that big waffle about that presenter who had a blooper on air, so they want to stay quiet now too, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
They blew
so
that.
basically, they blew that, and now if they cave now, then they're just a big laughing stock.
That's right. So I think she'll be sticking around for a little bit longer.